Today on Let's Fish TV, join me Andrew Upshaw from Lake Buchanan, beautiful Lake Buchanan in South Central Texas, targeting white bass and striper, using a spinning rod, lighter than average line, and trying to catch one of those fish of a lifetime. Guys, this place is low right now, but the fishing is hot. This is a place that if you can get down to, you definitely need to come check it out. Let's Fish TV is on the air right now. Got him!
Look at that big fella right there.
Oh my goodness.
Woo! Look at that slab of rooski.
There we go. First one. Oh, that's a good one there. Welcome to Let's Fish TV. I'm your host, Andrew Upshaw, and today we're at Lake Buchanan. Lake Buchanan is located in South Central Texas, just outside of Austin. It's a great place to target stripers and white bass, and that's exactly what we're going for today. We're going after the stripers and white bass. This place has a ton of them and has some monsters in it. We'll be using our active target 2 and finding these big bait balls that these fish are schooled up around. You know, we'll also have this week's fishing report from your local region. In the meantime, I'm gonna get the bass cat launch, get everything set up, and we'll see y'all here just in a second. Hopefully we're rolling in a really big fish. All right, guys, we're heading out on Lake Buchanan here in South Central Texas. And I pulled up my deep dive app, you know, and I try to do this every single day that I get out on the water to kind of have an idea of what I'm dealing with today. You know, the cool thing about this app is it has weather on it, it has all kinds of different things. But I know one thing I'm gonna need today, and that is the wind effects portion of the app. And when you click on the wind effects portion, it shows you the direction of the wind that they're expecting today, how it's gonna change, and how high the wind is gonna get. And on this lake, it can get big in a hurry. You know, anytime you come to South Texas, the wind is an issue, so you have to pay attention to it to make sure you're safe. But we got a really hard wind. The good thing is it's gonna be coming across the lake and not down the middle of it. So guys, you need to check out the Deep Dive app. It's definitely made fishing that much better for me. So let's get out there and let's see what we can do. Oh, come back. Come back. No doubt. Oh. There he is. Oh, yeah. That's a good one there. Oh. Guys, today we're on Lake Buchanan here in South Central Texas, right outside of Austin, and we're striper fishing and really looking for anything that'll bite. This time of year is a lot of fun, and using active target 2's made catching fish like this a lot easier. But today we're gonna break that down for you, show you how to find them, what to look for, and hopefully you'll catch a really good one. This one right here isn't a giant, but man, stripers are one of my favorite things to catch. We're catching on a brand new bait by Strike King, and I'm really excited about it. It's the perfect little size minnow for your fishing needs, but man, oh man, nice little fish. This lake is definitely known for them. We're gonna catch a bunch of these today on today's episode, and hopefully we'll catch one of those really, really big ones that we'll have a hard time turning. So we're gonna get back to it, and we'll see y'all here in just a second.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you once again by Skeleton Optics. You know, when you buy a pair of sunglasses, you're really paying all the money for the lenses. So get the best lenses made. Zeiss world-renowned lenses are what Skeleton Optics use in their sunglasses. Now this week we're going to talk about bass fishing across Texas, and it has taken off. We've already had 7 fish over 13 pounds entered into the Cheryl Lunker Legacy Program. Not only that, but one of those fish from Alan Henry was caught a couple of years ago at 13.3. Now she's a 14.7 when she was entered again into the Lunker program. Now this full moon is going to bring bass shallow. Those were all caught using the forward-facing sonar technology. Now we all get a shot at some of the big fish as they move shallow to spawn. Now in South Texas, they've already moved up and they've been doing their thing. In North Texas, they're not quite there yet, but across most of the state, this full moon is going to bring fish up shallow to spawn. So look in those spawning areas and very near those spawning flats. Fish the first break if you want to go for the big pre-spawn females. Use your moving baits, your bladed jigs, your spinner baits, and of course you can use drop shots, Texas rigger, crawfish, all kinds of good baits you can throw. And keep an eye on the shallows for the big girls up there spawning. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes. Check us out on Facebook, Lone Star Lakes.
Oh, here we go. There we go. What we got here? This was a little bit better one. This was like a striper. He's digging me pretty good. I've gotten to where, guys, I've turned to one rod for coming out here and striper fishing when I'm fishing with a spinning rod, and that is a 7.4. Gives me a little bit more power and allows me a little bit more control over fish. It's not a great big one, but it's a good one nonetheless. There we go. That's what you get this time of year on Buchanan. You know, we're out here just kind of fishing for hybrids, white bass, stripers, whatever bites, and there's a good population of these fish here. Right now, the water is really low in this body of water. And quite honestly, today the wind has just killed us. You know, we got out here and it just was blowing all day long, and that's what you get in South Texas a lot of times. But one big key is getting out and finding the bait, and that's exactly what we've done today. And one way that you can find the bait in a very quick manner is having the right transducer. So on my boat, I have a through-hole transducer mounted in my boat. What this allows me to do is to obviously get really good scanning ability with my 2D idling, but it also allows me to find fish while I'm actually running my boat. So it'll give you the depth of the water, and you can see the little shad balls while you're running around. And once I see those shad balls, especially on a striper lake like this, you gotta stop and start fishing around and you will find those stripers. So I'm gonna get back to it. We got a little wad of fish here. We'll see if we can catch a few more. Wow, what do I got? That's a better fish. It's got to be a big striper, or a good striper, or a catfish. Actually starting to feel like a drum or a catfish. It's like shaking. No, it's a little striper. He's just coming in sideways. Oh, he's got it choked. There we go. That's not a bad fish. It's way better than I thought it was. Nice little white bass there. Buchanan is loaded with these nice white bass. Made a little change, went to a little bit smaller baby Z2. You know, sometimes when these fish start getting pressure, especially when the water is cold, sometimes you got to downsize your bait. You know, I started out with a 5-inch full-size Z2 going after those really big fish. And sometimes you got to downsize that bait, especially on these high pressure days like we have today, to a little bit smaller bait, a little lighter jig head, and you'll get even more bites. You know, using forward-facing sonar, in this case Active Target 2, to catch fish, it really has, you know, made targeting specific species enormously easier. So when you're out here, you're looking for white bass, striper, you can truly tell the difference. You can actually see the fins on the fish when it comes to the Active Target. And it really makes fishing fun for, you know, anglers that don't get to go fishing all the time. So you hear a lot of bad stuff about it, but let me tell you guys, like, if you get one, you need to go out there and just go fishing. It's not as easy as it looks sometimes, but you definitely can catch some fish. I'm gonna get back to it.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Have fun out there. Power Pole, total boat control. Balls Out, made in the USA, heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders. Rely on, challenge your limits.
There we go. Hooked up again here on Buchanan. Oh, look at, I mean, there's so many fish. There we go. This is a nice little white bass, or hybrid. Can't really tell what he is right now. Oh yeah, not bad. Not a bad little fish. Ooh, here we go. Little striper, not a big one. We're out here on Buchanan. Man, it's such a nice day. Not a bad little fish, just out here, you know, dropping a little minnow around. But this particular lake, when I got here, I've never been here before. I know the striper get way bigger than that. I mean, they get like this big. But the cool thing about this lake is it's really, really deep. But I noticed that the lake was really low when we got here. We actually had to launch off into the dirt a little bit. And I started doing some research. I actually pulled out my deep dive app, and it said the lake is like 18 foot low, and that is extremely low for a body of water. And I know around here in South Texas, that's kind of what they deal with. A bunch of lakes are really, really low down here right now. So you have to be really careful when you go launch and you try to find a place where you can and not mess up your equipment. But we did find a little ramp over there that worked, and everything worked out. But the fishing's starting to heat up. You know, we're starting to get some fish. I mean, we've got a bunch on active target 2 up there right now. So I'm gonna get back to it and see if we can catch some. Guys, we're gonna go break it down today. We're gonna talk about each type of equipment that you might need to catch these stripers, these white bass this time of year. And bait selection is key. And having the right bait at the right time is gonna help get you more bites. So let's get back to it. See you here in just a second.
What's up, guys? Captain Taylor Burrell here, Wave Dancer Charters down here in Galveston, Texas, with this week's fishing report. Man, it's been beautiful weather, beautiful spring break weather. We'll be catching lots of sheep's head, slot redfish, big black drum. We'll be sitting up, anchoring up, using, you know, whole half crabs. A little further offshore, still doing our little state water trips. We're catching a bunch of red snapper, big red snapper, bull reds are out there as well. Even further offshore, the tuna bite's still been pretty good. Still a few wahoo being caught. This week is probably, or these past few days, probably been the first couple of days anybody could get out there. Catching a lot of groupers, and the party boat's catching a lot of million snapper as well with them. They even had a big Warsaw the other day. Remember, guys, if you don't come fishing down here in Galveston, give us a call. Thanks.
There we go. Hooked up again here on Buchanan. Oh, look at, I mean, there's so many fish out there right now. That is crazy. Golly, that's awesome. You know, guys, I don't get to do very many of these types of shows, but I really enjoy coming out and catching stripers and white bass and hybrids. It's just something about the pool. It's so different than catching a crappie or a bass. It's so aggressive. And, you know, this is just a small one in comparison to what you can catch. I mean, if you watch like one of our Hartwell episodes, you know, you were seeing us catch some really, really big ones. But for just having fun, this is a lot of fun. I mean, like, the bite is aggressive. They go over there and just smash on it. But we're using active target 2, and that is revolutionized, you know, what we're doing here with striper and white bass fishing. But I want to just show you how I actually target these fish. So, you know, we're out here, and if you look on there, you can actually see the baits just kind of blanketed out around. And what you want to find is you want to find the fish that are sitting higher than the bait. And when you find the fish that are higher than the bait, that's the ones you want to target. And if it's a striper or a set of stripers, typically they're going to be moving way faster than any other fish. And you have to kind of lead your cast. But that's why a heavy jig head is important. This is a 5/8 ounce tungsten jig head with the brand new Strike King Z2. This is the 4-inch though. You know, we've always had the baby Z2 and the regular Z2, but this is a new 4-inch size, and quite honestly, we needed that good in-between size. But I'm gonna get back to it. We'll break down the bait a little bit more here in just a little while. But guys, the fish are biting here on Buchanan. I can't wait to catch another one.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Lowrance, the ultimate fishing system, Gulf Shores and Orange Beach Tourism. Let's fish on Alabama's beaches. Fish Tips. Connect with the experts to find fish fast.
There we go. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I just like the way these fish fight. It's so much fun. That one's interested in it. There we go. Oh, whoa, there we go. Oh, man. There we go, another nice one. Baby Z2, or that Z2 is really working just to get bites. I mean, it's so much fun catching these fish. But the one thing that I want to talk to you about is picking the right color, you know, especially when you're targeting white bass or stripers or hybrids. In low light conditions, I really like to go with that pearl color, you know, a white, more white color, or if the water's dirty. But you have to keep a couple different options available. Another really good option is a more transparent, you know, and I kind of keep both on hand, and I always keep a couple different weight sizes, you know, for, you know, if I'm fishing a more transparent bait that I feel like they, you know, especially if the sun gets real high and it gets calm, I'll go to this and I'll go to a lighter head so I throw it down on them and it doesn't spook them. But that 5/8 ounce head, whenever it's windy and lower light conditions like we have right now, and I know it doesn't seem like it's low light, but the sun's just now coming up, and it really does make a huge difference as far as getting fish to react and getting fish to eat your lure if you have the right color. You know, for years and years and years, we used those bucktail jigs, and those were like the staple for striper and white bass forever. I mean, I did it when I was a kid. My dad and I used to catch them jigging those hair jigs for a really long time. But as this fishing world has evolved, so has the bait selection. Now, could you come out here with, you know, live bait or, you know, hire a guide on Buchanan? Absolutely. And there's a lot of great ways to catch fish here. But I'm gonna tell you guys, if it was me, I would have me an active target too, and I'd get me that little 4-inch Z2 and the pearl color with a heavier head. You'd be surprised how many fish you'll catch, guys. They're everywhere. Oh my gosh. I was wondering if one of them was gonna come up there and eat it. I mean, look at the size school of fish that is right there. Goodness gracious. That one's pulling different. He ain't big, but he is pulling hard. Uh-oh. There we go. Nothing wrong with that. Ooh. Nice little fish. God, they're good little fish. They're not big, but they're a good solid fish to catch, maybe. Oh, yep. There we go. Man, having the right equipment when it comes to catching these white bass and striper, because you just never know what you're gonna hook into. There we go. I have no idea what that is. Is that a white bass? Yeah, just a little old white bass. He's not as good though. That's a decent one though. God, downsizing that bait was like instant. Get way more bites. It's a tiny one. But it does make a difference, paying attention to the size of the bait and what they're reacting to. Now it's every time you even get it around a fish, they're biting it. But God, Buchanan is loaded with these fish. It's crazy. How many are swimming around this timber? There we go. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I just like the way these fish fight. It's so much fun. That's a little baby striper there. Ooh, you can always tell the difference between these fish. Oh, yeah, that's a striper. Is based off of a couple of different factors. You know, a white bass typically is a little bit taller, whereas a striper is longer and leaner with the solid lines, and a hybrid has the broken lines. And you really need to make sure you pay attention to those things for the fact that, you know, obviously you can only keep certain things and follow your fish and wildlife regulations. So you have to make sure you are keeping the right fish and identifying those fish. You know, there's videos all over the internet that you can use to identify the exact species of each fish that you catch. But you know, guys, today has been absolutely phenomenal. We've caught so many fish. It really and truly has been one of those days where we'll catch a fish, we'll cut, and we'll go back out and catch another one like almost immediately. And that's what makes fishing fun, is whenever you can go out there and it's just every single drop that you make. And that's the kind of stuff that you get into here at Buchanan. And anytime you're on these big, deep, clear-ish reservoirs that have white bass and striper in them.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Lose, Feel the Difference, Strike King, Tie One On, Glacier Outdoor, outdoors since 1982. Here's today's Right Stuff, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
When you're picking your rod and reel though, it's really important to kind of match everything up, you know, and that's what we do with this Lose Signature Series rod here. This one is a 7.4, and it's really a multi-purpose rod. This is the same rod I use for smallmouth and a lot of heavier using, you know, forward-facing sonar like Active Target 2, because you can use a heavier jig head and still be able to move it. And what I mean by that is when you use a real heavy jig head and you make a real long cast out to fish, it doesn't matter if you're bass fishing, striper fishing, and you make that long cast out there, the lighter action rod that you have, the less of a hook set you can make with a heavier jig head. And having the right size line is just as important. I use a 10-pound braid to a 10-pound up to 14-pound P-line tactical fluorocarbon leader. And having strong line, especially around this timber here at Buchanan, is extremely, extremely important. And it is vital to the success of landing those fish of a lifetime. Most important, and I mean this, guys, most important, find equipment that can handle the bait and the fish that you're trying to land. It doesn't matter what you're fishing, topwater, minnow, crankbait, whatever it is, you really have to do your research and find the rod that's right for that technique. And this day and age, there is a rod for every single technique in the book. Guys, I hope you learned how to find and catch them. And until next time, I'll see you on the water.